Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. First off, I just wanted to start off with an apology. I know I've been a bit quiet lately and missed some of our weekly episodes. The truth is, I've been battling with some technical issues and some really slow internet, to the point that our guests can't even hear the conversation that we're having. You probably would have noticed this with Joe, as we had to switch over to just a phone call, and it really wasn't the audio quality that I like. But I wanted to get out some really good content because I thought the conversation was fantastic. The good news is I think I've finally found a fix, and I'm getting rid of the NBN and what seems to be corrupted fibers, and I'll be moving over to Starlink to get things running smoothly again. So hopefully our regular schedule will be back very soon. The next couple of episodes I recorded in person, so we don't have to worry about that internet. So I hope you enjoy that. A really exciting hunt today that we're going to be talking about. And then we're going to get into some pig hunting, because I know there's been quite a few of you reaching out to say get more people on and find out some more info about pigs. So I really appreciate your patience and support while I've been working through this. I've got some great guests lined up, and I can't wait to record and share those episodes with you. So stick around, because I'm excited where it's going. Enjoy the episode.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're listening to the Australian Hunting and Beyond podcast with Matt, where we talk about hunting, shooting, fishing, camping, and everything else that the great outdoors has to offer. Let's get into it.
All right, we've got our favourite Irishman back again. He's here. You would have heard him from Croak Camp, nailing a buck. Not a bad start to the deer account, I will say that. And he's joining us again tonight because we just got back from a hunt. But before we get into that, Gaz, let's talk about some breaking news with this new, I guess, what DPI has released with a couple of changes to the State Forest system and the R licence system. I am over the moon. I don't know about you, but I think it's absolutely fantastic, especially 4 bookings for 4 days. That is unreal, because I know I think we spoke about it on the podcast down at the rut when we were hunting the rut, that you don't get the chance to scout.
Yeah, absolutely. The 4 days, 4 nights separation, having that chance of just being able to scout. I was in that position where I went for a pre-scout, but it meant that I basically had to hopefully get the forest that I wanted, which I didn't, so I had to change. I couldn't book multiple forests for Croak Camp, which was, unfortunately, where I'd done my scouting, of course, I had to change forests, so unfortunately, I just had to start from scratch. You won't have to do that anymore, which is fantastic. I think a lot of people will be overjoyed with it, for sure. The difference in, splitting it into day hunters, night hunters as well, that'll massively, I think it'll really help with the numbers of people in the forest. You definitely, you get your pig hunters going in at night time with the dogs. But it's not taking away the numbers from daytime hunters as well.
I think the access is probably the best thing about it. Like, if you think about, so many people, and we said it before, if you've got people in there that are, if it's a forest that has pig hunters at night time, they had to book during the day, and that's just time hunters during the day chasing deer or foxes or whatever they're doing. They're not allowed to be in there. So it's not actually being utilised. So I love it. I think it's such a good idea that you have split the option, because you can get hunters in during the day, you can still book it out, everyone's winning and everyone's getting more time in the forest. Like, what a win. So good. Great to see them implementing stuff like this.
Yeah, it's good to see DPI have finally listened to 90% of the people that, go into the forest. Really, there's probably 10% of hunters that go in there for 7 days at a time. It's just with life, most people just can't do that these days, So a 4-day, 4-day max with 4 bookings, which I believe you could probably book simultaneously, depending on the details of that. But, you can obviously probably bank them up or something like that, So
I would have to agree. I think that you would be able to book them one after the other. So it potentially is opening the doors for someone like, I don't know how many would, but you potentially could have 16 days in a forest, which is a damn long time. But you know what I'm more excited about? Like the trips, right? If you go further away and then start to come back towards home, you can essentially sort of piggyback or leapfrog, I should say, leapfrog forests back towards home. And well, yes. And if you're talking about that day that you're traveling in between, you could almost turn it into a 3-week trip, because 4 days, you do a day thing, you can camp in the forest a day either side. I'm guessing that won't have changed. Then you literally could do 4 days, 1 day traveling, 4 days, 1 day traveling, 4 days, and get a 3-week sort of round trip, which I think, I don't know. Look, I'm never doing it. I don't think with my kids and family. I don't know. I don't think the wife's going, hey,
I
you
was
going to
say,
weeks.
do you think Nat would sign up to this?
I don't think so. But in saying that, if you've got something like a caravan or something and you're doing a family trip and a bit of traveling, if you're breaking it up and saying go for a hunt in the morning and it's family time the rest of the day and you're bouncing between state forests, that starts to look a bit more attractive for people that sort of have that opportunity or, things like that.
This sounds like something potentially that we might be able to do.
Maybe. We'll wait and see. We'll talk about the caravanning in a bit because, it was a life of luxury on our hunting trip. But I just think the potential for here is fantastic. And I'm really pleased that DPI have heard and listened to feedback and sort of got their finger on the pulse. And I've always sort of said I think they do a pretty fantastic job for what I believe is a pretty under-resourced sort of government agency. And big props to them because I think this is a couple of steps in the right direction. And I don't see any negatives to it. Other than people might complain, I can't get 7 days in a forest, but then you've got 4 bookings. You could potentially get 8 days in the forest and you've still got 2 bookings up your sleeve for whether it be pre-scouting for the rut, whether it be checking out different forests. It's
a win-win.
I like it.
Has to be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. I think they've done a really great job there, and I'm interested if anyone has some different thoughts. Please reach out and let us know. Maybe it's something we haven't thought about, but I don't know. I just can't see it at the moment. And I like to sort of play devil's advocate a lot and try and look at it from all perspectives. But I really, with these 2 changes, and they haven't alluded to a heap of detail. There's with obviously the email that came out and what's been on the Facebook and whatnot. And I'm curious to see. I think the numbers are changing and the login system and the mapping system and whatnot. So I'm curious to see how that all sort of plays out. But I look, at the moment with just those 2 changes, step in the right direction. Well done, New South Wales DPI.
Definitely well done for that one, for sure. I guess we'll wait and find out, later in the month when more details come out, what else changes.
Yeah, it's not long now.
Yeah.
So a week and a bit, I think. So
for the better part, for most family men, who struggle to get away as it is, I think the 4 and 4, is definitely a step in the right direction for sure.
I like the idea of the scouting.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the things if you were trying to book in a certain time in the rut, and it happened to us, like you missed your forest, you scouted one, probably worked in your favour with that buck anyway. But when you're not being able to go in and scout, and that was a major issue of this rut was for me. I went out and I was fresh as just walking into the forest and sort of having an idea because I'd been there before, but I hadn't really tried to get in there and pattern them. I hadn't done that because, well, I didn't have the bookings, and you have multiple trips. Some people like to do different areas. Yeah, it's correct. Like I love it. I'm so excited.
I think at the end of the day, we did all just follow the Frodo method from
Well,
memory.
Yeah. Here we go. Look at here. We able to get 4 deer in 4 state forests next, right? I think.
Quite possibly. Yeah, it's definitely. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, with the new portal that's coming along, I think the only other thing that they could really do is, come next rut, will the site continue to crash? Will that system that they're bringing in also improve that as well? Because that would be definitely a massive upgrade.
Well, I think with the portal being down for so long, I'm not an IT expert, but it looks like there's massive changes coming. And what they're talking about, all the different things, they're pretty big. So I dare say that they are going to have a far better site, or they're going to have better infrastructure behind them to be able to cope with larger demands. And that, I think, is reflected a little bit with day hunting, night hunting. Like that change alone is increasing capacity on its own. 4 bookings is now increasing capacity because we could only do 2 sets before. So if you just go on current hunters without the day-night hunting, you've almost, you've doubled
the capacity
of what you're going to need to be able to produce. So I feel like they've done this big hit, and hopefully the back end is going to be able to cope. And I do think if they're making these changes on the back of hearing people, I reckon the site's going to be able to cope with the capacity needs that are required.
I think another thing to really think about as well would be, I wonder what the dynamic of the state forest is going to be, given during the day that the forest is going to have pressure, people chasing deer, pigs, whatever they're after, and then you've got potentially double the amount of people in there, say at night time, chasing pigs as well. It'll be interesting to see what that does, whether it moves animals around and that kind of stuff as well. So,
I mean, we can allude to the hunt we just went on. When there's not pressure, animals behave very, very differently compared to a state forest where they're on edge, they're freaking out every 5 seconds. I think that day-night pressure, it'll be interesting to see whether that drives animals out of hunting zones. Yeah. Which, hey, that potentially can happen. We'll wait and see. I'm curious to see these, and I think it's a good idea. Just these are test cases to see how it plays out and what happens. So that's always a positive to see what happens.
It's all positive change, that's for sure. Anything that DPI can do to promote and get more hunters into a forest at any given time, it's always going to be good for everybody.
Yeah, bloody oath. No, I think so. So, yeah, once again, congrats DPI. So, fantastic job. Well done. I'm looking forward to this new site being up and running. Well, mate, let's talk about this trip. So, I promised big things. And if you follow the podcast, if you follow the socials and whatnot, I've been talking about Northwest Outfitters previously, and their absolutely cracking fallow property that I got to go on and check out. And there was no bucks there at the time. We were a little bit early, but we were lucky enough to go on another trip to check out the property again, and this time it was a bit of a meat mission. I wanted to go and try and stock up the fridge, or the freezer, I should say. So I twisted your arm. You were able to get off work.
I think my arm turned to jelly.
Let's talk, because look, this property is unreal, and I said that last time. It is just, it's hard to even sort of explain. So the good news is, for those that I can't probably articulate it as well as I should, we got a heap of footage, and there'll be, if you follow us on YouTube, Australian Hunting and Beyond, you will see some videos and footage coming up of the hunts, because you did some great film work, and I got some good footage of you, and I think the videos are going to turn out pretty damn good. So keep your eye out, subscribe to that one. Hopefully that'll be out in the next month or so. What were your thoughts going into it? Because you're sort of newish to deer hunting. You've always been a pig hunter, and we'll talk about that on another episode. But you've done the rut. You were successful getting a buck. You slogged it out in the state forest. Coming into this, me talking it up, saying, mate, you've got no idea we're going to see that many deer. And, you know, you haven't experienced that. Like, I haven't experienced that outside of this property. What were your thoughts when we were heading up there?
Honestly, I've been to my fair share of private properties for pig hunting, obviously, but never for deer. The expectation for me, based on what you told me, I was thinking, yeah, there's going to be big numbers, but will they still be there from the last time you were there? I don't even know how I could explain the sheer volume of deer on this property, but it was, yeah, it's still, we've been back for a few days now, and it still goes through my head of like the numbers were just unbelievable. The quality of the deer was just amazing. Like,
they're in good nick, aren't they?
Unbelievable. The habitat that they've got is just probably some of the best that you would find in New South Wales, no doubt about it.
It's a cracking property. And it's funny because you hear of a lot of properties open up, private access. It is a paid property, and it's a working farm, but it's on 9,000 acres, which is absolutely huge. It is such a good mix. Like, it is almost the perfect property. It's hilly as hell. Thank God the buggy's there, and you get to use the buggy because, Jesus Christ, heading up the top a couple of times, it is, you just wouldn't want to do it on foot. We'll talk about when I chased goats, and that was a hard enough slog up those hills. We'll talk about that a bit later. But just moving around the property, like, we, again, probably saw maybe, I don't know, 20, 30% max, and we were there for multiple days, trekking around the property on the quad, on the buggy, I should say, and we just got a touch of it, right? Like, it's just, but it's this perfect mix between that hilly country, good shelter, open pasture, crops. It's got
it all. It's got it all. There's no doubt about it.
It doesn't matter what the conditions are, which way the wind's coming from, there is somewhere to go and plenty of places to go. It's like the place could easily handle multiple hunters at any one time. You know, you could almost break it into, you know, what sixth, I think, and you wouldn't see another hunter, essentially. It is unreal. But, well, we got there the first day, got set up. And look, I will say that, we talked, you know, alluding to talking about caravans before, you had the new caravan ready to take us up.
It was quite the setup.
It's great.
It's fantastic.
Oh, it's so good.
Love diesel heaters.
Oh, diesel, yeah, that was a must.
The temperature up there was pretty brisk from memory, but
it was cold.
Diesel.
Well, you never left the caravan overnight, so I don't.
That is true.
I will say this, for an Irish bloke, your temperature tolerance. Like, I expected you to be outperforming me in the cold, and mate, you were the opposite.
I've been here for too long. Been here for too long, but yeah, I don't know. Well, it's really hard to explain to people just how good this property was. And, you know, I was a guest invited there, but the gullies, just incredible. Even the scenery, man, just to sit on top of those hills and you can glass for like 2-3 kilometers and look across, and you think there's 5 deer that you're looking at, and then you look across to the side, there's another 20. Look across to the side again, there's another 20. Or you look to the other gully system or hill, the face, and you're just like, there's 100 goats. Like, yes.
And they just mustered 500.
Yeah.
So they just mustered up 500 goats, and literally while we were there, they were putting them on the trucks to send them. And we saw so many goats still.
Oh, that was...
got some really good footage of that. What about some big billies too?
Yeah, there was some incredible billies. Beautiful headsets on them. Like, if you wanted to chase a cracking billy, even a cracking buck, or, geez, how was the mountain, like the mountain pig?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
2 pigs. Probably 2 of the biggest pigs I've ever seen.
Well, they were probably what I reckon. So I reckon they were probably, as a guess, I'd say 400 to 500 metres away. The boar scared a doe. I was sitting there watching a doe, and she got good footage of it. I missed the boar, unfortunately. So she was just sitting under a tree, and I know we were stuffing around. I'm going, check her out, and I was trying to film her and whatnot, because she was just bedded under a tree, and I was just watching her. And you know, I think that's the other thing I love about the property is just getting to sit and watch. And I know we did it on the last morning. We'd just sitting and watching movements and what they're doing, and I learn so much more, I guess, doing that than in the state forest, because you barely see one in the state forest, and then half the time they're so on edge. You don't just get to see them in their relaxed state and doing what deer do. So I was watching this doe, and I'd zoomed in on it, watching it, and all of a sudden it spooked, and I looked away from the camera. I think I actually turned the camera off, and I'm just looking because I could just roughly see where she was, but she'd moved out from under and into this sort of open area. And this black thing comes up beside it, and it was bigger than friggin' her. And I'm looking at it, just naked eye, probably 400 or 500 meters away, going, holy crap, that is a huge pig. Got on the binos. I wish I would have gotten the camera, but I got on the binos and looked at it and just went, oh my God, that's what she was running from. I would have ran too, because it was Pigzilla. Like, it was huge.
It was easily, 100, 110, maybe 120 kilo. It was probably one of the biggest pigs I've ever seen. You seen the excitement on my face. I wanted to go and chase this thing. Like, if it had been closer and more accessible, I would have been after that thing.
You would have needed a hang glider, because it was on the other that sheer drop off, and to get over there, hang glider only. It was
paired up with like a beautiful big spotty pig, and that thing would have been 90 kilo.
Yeah, that was no slouch.
It was, it was beside the man mountain pig beside it, but yeah, that spotty pig, even that was just incredible. And that doe just had one look at it and went, no. Not today. I'm out of here. Yeah. And it legged it. When you got deer running from a pig, it's big. It was incredible to see it. And, it would have been great to just chase after that thing. But, this just, that's the kind of animal that you see on this property. Just, you would not find in even its behavior that it was doing. It was just strolling, didn't care. If you go onto most private properties, pigs generally won't do that. It's just the behaviour that you would see with it. They're always a bit apprehensive of what they're doing, what's around them. Those two pigs didn't care. No.
They were just...
It was incredible.
And it wasn't it wasn't early. Like, it was, I think by that stage it was probably 3 o'clock in the arvo.
Yeah, 2:33.
It wasn't a time when I was expecting to really see some pigs out and about.
No, out in the sun, just on that sunny face, and yeah, it was massive.
Big.
Massive.
You lit up. It was quite funny because we alluded that you're a bit of a pig hunter, and we'll get into that a bit later on in the next episode. But your eyes lit up and you got pumped, and I think that arvo we had to go and look for pigs.
Yeah,
you were going, stuff the deer. I want a pig.
Yeah, there was an itch to be scratched. That's for sure. And that pig got to keep walking that day, but I would hopefully get back there again, and if it's on that face again, well, I'll be chasing after it.
So I think it was the first day we got there. Obviously, it's a 5.5 hour drive from us here in Sydney. We got there, set up the caravan. Just touching on that, your car towed that thing bloody beautifully, to the point that's my next car, 100%. Like, super impressed. Up and down the Blue Mountains, holy crap, it didn't miss a beat. Like, it was unreal. I was so impressed because that was a vehicle I've been tossing up to upgrade to. So that is now on the list. But getting up there, setting up, we were out and about at about probably 1 o'clock, I reckon. I wanted to sort of say, listen, we'll go for a bit of I'll show you around, have a bit of a squeeze in different sort of sections. Wasn't much in the way of deer out because it was early. We did, however, see a ton of goats, which stand out like, dog's balls, being mixed colours, especially on these nice bright faces. We were sort of spotting every second face. There's goats, there's goats, there's goats. Got some really good footage of that, but we headed up and I think it was then, we'd seen a couple of does, but it was sort of early. We then saw that little, mob of bucks, those 3 bucks that were hanging out. I think maybe 3 or 4. I've got good footage of them too.
All respectable bucks as well. They were.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't shoot one to be honest. I sort of now.
Yeah, I'm denied.
I did. I am denied. I got the camera out. I zoomed in, had a good sort of watch of them, watch they were doing, and it was very early in the trip, and I was like, oh, you know what? Just know the property's that good. I reckon we're going to see better. So I sort of held off a little bit, just going, oh yeah, well, I know we're going to see plenty of deer.
Me as a newbie in the deer world, though, I was looking at these things going, that is impressive. That is the heads on those bucks. They weren't super old, but they had impressive heads and real gnarly looking palms on them as well.
So seeing the footage, as I said, listeners, you'll be able to see this. It will get up there. I get what you were saying, that they sort of had that flame look to them.
Yeah.
They were quite nice looking.
It was like a thunderbolt.
One of them was really wide too, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how wide he was until sort of reviewing the footage.
He was quite
good.
The chocolatey in the back at the front. He was impressive.
But they were only about 50, 60, 70 metres away.
Yeah, we bumped them.
And we just sat there and watched them. Would have been probably relatively able to shoot one pretty comfortably.
It would have been an easy shot, I reckon.
They were just doing their thing, kept a bit of an eye on us. Yeah, did that. That was exciting just to see some good bucks there, and then they took off. Saw some good goats. Oh, the pigs beforehand. Oh, we should have knocked them.
Yeah, we kind of went for a little drive over the hill, down into one of the bottom paddocks just to check out the pasture that was at the bottom. And we came over the hill and in amongst the cows, there was a nice little trough that was sitting there, and there was a nice little 2 boars and a sow and probably 8 or 9 piglets.
I think it was more. I think there was 4 big. I think there was
quite
2
a few
sows because there was a lot of piglets, and I think I got footage of 2, of the piglets suckling on 2 of them. But you'll see on the footage is that there was a nice big water tank right behind them, and there was cows. I don't know if I got the cows in there. I probably did because they were in amongst the cows.
Yeah,
they were.
You should have got the bow out, to be fair.
Yeah, I didn't have the bow. Remember that I changed that strategy, and we kept the bow with us at all times in the buggy because it would have been the perfect go at them because they were not fussed by us.
No, they were not.
They didn't really give a damn. We stopped the buggy, got the camera out, filmed them. Didn't want to shoot because obviously didn't want to bust up a water tank, and we didn't know how good the cattle were around because we were sort of like, oh, they're very close. I don't feel like I want to shoot and scare the cows everywhere and then piss off the owner.
Yeah, to be fair, those cattle were
they're good.
Some of the calmest cattle you could have been around.
Yeah, they're
it's incredible.
Yeah.
And they were pretty cute though.
They are, the little baby cows everywhere too, yeah.
Yeah, baby cows were...
It was baby everything.
Oh.
Baby goats. The kids, they were cool. Yeah. I think that was cool to see all them and just watch them going about their business too and playing around. And
I think even on that first day, we went up past that pond and we seen some elusive chittle deer as well.
Oh, we think so, yeah. Yeah, they were in deep.
If the property couldn't get any better...
Yeah, there's chittle.
You hear there's chittle.
Yeah, it's mate, it's a cracker.
What a place! What a place!
It's a cracker. But so we didn't pull the trigger on the first day. We were being sort of, let's have a bit of a squeeze, bit of fun, bit of exploring. We did go after pigs that night.
Yes,
we did go after pigs. So we went and where we saw the chittle, or we think were chittle. I'm pretty confident they were. That we sat off a dam.
We did just on dark. We had a sow and some smaller piggies come trotting down the hill, but unfortunately the route that they took was a little different to what we could see.
It was interesting, wasn't it?
We couldn't pull the trigger on it.
I think they tucked in at the dam. I thought they were getting a drink, and I think you did too, and you snuck up to get a shot of them, but they actually just sort of skirted around the dam
And done the slip.
and contoured, slipped away and disappeared into, the
Thin
wild.
air, basically.
Yeah, like, because you sort of were there. I was waiting for a shot. I had the camera out and we just went, you just got there and went, they're not here.
That was a bit of a shame. It would have been nice because they did look like they were coming down for a drink, but they didn't hang around, unfortunately. So yeah, they got to walk another day, I guess.
That sucked.
Yeah, definitely.
But hey, listen, how many animals do you think we saw on that first day?
It was safe to say that we've seen, easily 100 different critters of many kinds. There was foxes, deers,
And the mob of goats would have been
goats. Yeah, easily. Pigs. There's very little that property doesn't bring. It's got everything.
It's good, isn't it?
It's impressive.
Yeah.
They run a unbelievable ship, that's for sure. No doubt about it. But then even when we got back, we lit the campfire and just
Well, I'll let you explain. I'll explain.
we lit the campfire up and sitting with a handheld thermal just around the campfire, just looking up on the face of the hill directly behind camp, no more than 200-300 meters from us, up on the hill, and the hill was alive. It was absolutely alive with animals. I've got footage of, countless deer just strolling across that face. There was, roos, there was pigs, goats, everything. That whole face was completely moving, to be honest, under thermal. It was very impressive. Very, very impressive.
And we weren't even on the crops.
No.
We were just having a look at the hill.
The hill was moving. It was definitely moving, that's for sure. The thermal's got a whole different aspect to it, but yeah, sitting around that campfire, looking up at that hills with the thermal, and you seen that many critters just moving around.
I think it was at that stage I was saying because I think you were sort of thinking, geez, this bloke's an idiot. After not sort of pursuing all the deer that we'd seen, or the goats or whatnot. And when I was saying to you, mate, we'll be fine in the morning.
Yeah, and I wanted to do like a 4 a.m. start.
Yeah.
Just like State Forest, and
I said, chill out.
Stay in bed.
We don't need to be that crazy and that early. We'll get up there in the dark, but we don't need to be up there an hour and a half before. You wanted to go under spotlight and thermal. I was like, no, we don't need to go that crazy. Let's just get up there on daylight. I'm telling you now, just walking slowly, we're going to see a heap of deer, and we're going to have plenty of opportunities. Just, I backed the property.
The next morning, we batted up that hill in a side-by-side. Normally, that would scare just about everything off.
Well, it's so steep. You have to go up there with the buggy.
Definitely.
It would take you a good hour
or two,
maybe more, to climb to get up, because the deer do like it right up high. They love it.
You were like a little mountain goat at one stage.
Oh, mate, they like it up high. So getting up there and traversing the peaks, crawling through between sort of on that fringe country, it really does set you up for where you've got to be. But we'd probably been walking for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, basically, within 15 minutes. I think we came face to face with the fox first.
Yep.
He walked directly.
He was lucky
probably
that we were chasing deer.
Within 6-7 meters from us, in front of us, and I think
he sat down and just looked at us.
He sat and looked at us. He didn't care.
I was like, mate, you are so lucky. If I'd had deer on the deck, he was done.
Maybe we should have just took the trigger to him, because, well, we walked a matter of another, 5-10 minutes, just finding the sun, basically. Just
nice sunny slope early in the morning, because it was cold, as you said. It was cold. I think your diesel heater was ridiculously hot, and that was on the low setting. That's concerning. But then it was cold, so when we got up there, it was still brisk. It was chilly still, so figuring they'll be out grazing still in a bit of sun. And we came around this nice little corner, bit of an opening, got the the binos out and 20, 30 mob.
That we could see.
Yeah, and there was more over the peak because we were watching those two young, maybe spikers, maybe does. I'm not 100% sure. They were chasing each other and jumping around and frolicking, and to the point I was a bit nervous that they were going to scare the rest of the mob because the mob under them was hearing all this noise above them and was sort of like, what the hell's going on up there?
It worked for us though because we managed to creep in to probably.
Then we got 150.
150.
I think I arranged it before setting up for the shot at 150.
Yeah, it would have been a good 150, and they were just on a perfect little shot across.
Pretty level.
Yeah.
I will say, if you haven't, you need to have a look at the Spartan Javelin bipod system. It's a little magnet on your, like a little magnet sort of attachment that just pops in. I don't walk around with the bipod. I just have that in a pocket or in my bino harness. And when you do find deer, it's quiet. I popped it straight in. It can't, so you could, it had an axis that you sort of change.
It took you probably 30 seconds to
set up,
get it
to
out,
level
set it up, and
just
you were ready to go.
I was good to go. So I got settled in. And you say this guy's got the footage, so it came up pretty good, but settled in. I used the bino harness to prop up the butt of the gun. So I had it just literally sitting perfectly level. Loaded. They didn't even know what was going on. Picked out one that I really sort of just went, oh, yep, that's meat. That's the one I'm going to go. And I don't think I ever thought this would happen in my hunting career. So, and again, the footage is here. So, because I almost want to watch it to make sure it happened. Pulled the trigger on the first. And yes, I just did say first. She dropped. The mob sort of started to scatter. And I'm sort of just moving, after the recoil, I'm trying to find, just to make sure the one I'd shot was down. Just happened that another one is just running perfectly in line with my gun, and I'm leading it pretty much in the exact same sort of time. So I let her have it and shot her high neck, and she dropped instantly.
On the spot.
Then you are yelling at me, reload.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can leave that in the video footage.
You couldn't see what was going on. They'd run up the hill.
I think I saw a little bit, but I didn't realise they were coming back down.
Yeah.
And I had a 3-round mag, so I've already spent 2 and knocked 2 over. They've gone up over the hill. You then started yelling at me to reload because they have then decided, oh shit, something's up there. I'm going to come back down the hill. They have come back into the line of fire with me sitting there, and I just went, well, hey, we're here for meat. Why not? Bang, there's the third. And we were 3 deer on the deck, and it was 6:45.
You got the hat trick straight away.
Hat trick. I was just like 1, 2, 3 shots straight out of 3-round mag, maxed out, max deer on the deck. Jesus Christ. Like, what the hell? Like, that was, now the work starts, but I think it took us longer to butcher than it was our morning hunt.
Butchering the deer definitely took longer than the actual hunt. It was
nuts.
Impressive.
Absolutely nuts.
To get, literally, you look at, and we only thought there was probably 20 deer, and once you took that first shot,
there's more.
There was a lot more that came up over that hill out of that bowl that they were sitting in, and yeah, geez, they ran up and back down, and there was a bit of calling going on. It was, they just didn't know what was going on, did they?
It was. Yeah, and I think that it says so much when you get the wind right, when they don't know where you are, when you've been silent, you've got yourself into a good position. We were well concealed. We had a back round behind us that they couldn't see us, so we weren't moving on the skyline and triggering them or having them catch our movement. they had no idea where we were. And I think that's why they came back down the hill. I reckon they ran up and there was a heap up there moving and they've just heard the noise and just freaked out and sort of went, oh, we're going to go back down, because they did not know where the hell we were. And we just popped two of their mates and they were just like, holy crap.
Where did that come from?
Where'd that come from? Yeah. So it was, not a bad way to start the morning. And I was sort of like, well, yeah, I came for meat. The freezer looks pretty bloody good now.
And the condition of those deer.
They're in
It's one of the fattest does.
Yep. Yeah.
The layer of fat on that thing was impressive.
Healthy.
Super
Healthy
healthy. Super healthy. I'm pretty sure I've got one of the back straps sitting in my fridge. It's massive.
Yeah. Well, you did a better job at me butchering. I will say that. You were taking out the back straps, you were way more precise. I was just like, holy crap, I've got 2 deer to cut up here. You're doing one. I'm going to go to town. If I don't get every bit of meat here, I think I'm still going to be pretty damn happy.
I think it would have been fine. There's plenty of venison to go around.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
What a start. Like, that's what I think, was it at that stage you went, okay, he's not lying about this property? That I saw it yesterday, but like, Jesus Christ, we've come along. This is so different to state forest hunting.
I can't even imagine like that happening the chances of that happening in a state forest. I reckon you've probably more chance of winning the lotto than what you would have, If those deer had been in a state forest, they would have been gone.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. They would have been up over that hill and down into that thick stuff and gone. It was just unbelievable to see, how the difference in state forest against private was very impressive. That's for sure. What a property. What a property. Where did we go from there, though?
What did we do? So obviously we butchered up. We decided to do it there because we were quite a hike back to the buggy and it was quite steep. Again, you'll see on the video. I felt like a bit of a mountain goat trying to get down. We went and threw it in the cool room. They've got a cool room on site, so threw it in there, which is very handy.
Definitely another bonus for sure.
Very, very handy. And then I think we had something to eat and decided, let's go chase goats.
Yes, we did, actually. Correct.
Or was it we'll go look for those 3 bucks? Because we hadn't seen any bucks, had we? Like, that was one of the things.
Yeah, we went and had a good look, and we didn't manage to catch up with those again, though.
No, we didn't see them. We went to the same area,
I think they're a little satellite kind of mob, and maybe they just moved off. And they unfortunately weren't there. We did bump into a few other deer, though.
Yep, plenty of does.
Yeah, plenty of does, which unfortunately, was that the last day, though, that happened? Or was that, I walked around that ridge line, just where those bucks were, and I came face to face with a whole mob of does.
I can't remember. I think it was 2nd or 3rd day, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that many deer.
But it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? And, well, I'd sort of said, I've got 3 here. I'm really now, unless I see a nice buck, I'm pretty happy already. I said I want to chase some goats with the bow.
Yep.
Was sort of just something to do during the day. I was excited to have a crack at that. We went for a bit of a look, came back down. You were starving. That's right. You played with your drone, I think. You got some cool footage. And then you said, I'm starving. We need to go back, get some food.
Yeah.
And then we were driving along and we saw a mob of goats.
Yeah, and there was that beautiful big black billy that we seen.
Cruising from right to left on that hill, and we went, we could probably drive over. It was your suggestion. I reckon we could drive up there and we can
try and intercept.
And we did. The problem with our interception plan was where we parked the buggy was probably still 200 meters or so lower in elevation and then distance.
I think you're probably,
Am I being nice?
Yeah, I think you're being nice. I think it's more like 400 to 500 meters difference in elevation. And we were not moving anywhere near as fast as those goats. damn, those goats could move fast uphill
Yeah.
and across them.
Well, reflecting on it, we saw them and they were well and truly probably 2 almost ridge lines down to where we ended up catching them.
Yeah, true.
That was a hike and a half. It's steep as hell. It was
Rocky.
rocky as hell. We got there.
We did.
We got there. Like, we got up to them. I was just sitting there going, geez, thank God I've been sort of running and things like that. Because I'll tell you what, if you're not fit, you're going to battle. Got up there. I had the bow. Snuck in. Did pretty good. Camo was good.
Done very good, actually.
Camo was real good because I got, 5 billies and I got into about 20
Yeah, easily 20.
before one sort of picked up and he was looking at me. He could not see me. I froze and stood there I felt like it was a good 2 minutes at least. And he was just looking at me, but he then turned around completely and just went about his business. The wind was relatively good. It wasn't until the wind hit my neck and I went, oh, don't. Like, this has been a hell of a climb. I'm in at sort of 20. He's a little bit higher than me. I want to sort of get here and I couldn't. And then it just went to shit. The whole thing just turned bad.
The wind hit your neck.
Yeah. They got a bit of a scent.
He called his friends and...
I still had a shot.
True.
And then that epically just went wrong. Those arrows are terrible. I will not be buying those shafts again.
They're going in the bin.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with them. Their flight path just was useless. The knock was falling out the back. It was a shit fight. I'm so devoed. I don't know what happened. I'm definitely need to upgrade and get better shafts. That happens. So no go. Just had a bit of a shocker with the
the big
arrows.
Black Billy that we had seen. He was kind of the last of the whole group, and he just turned around and looked at us, and then disappeared off.
Yeah.
Into the sunset he went.
Look, I will say it was fun.
It was.
And it was good fun. Like, it was a hell of a climb.
While I was waiting for you to come back from that climb, because I sat back and was filming, it felt like you were only probably 100, maybe 150 meters away from me, but it took you probably...
Was your neck hurting from looking up at me?
Yeah. But it still took you, a good 10 minutes to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
Which I was, by that stage, just sitting, glassing a face on the other side. And again, looking at multiple deer.
Yeah.
That were just going about their day, grazing.
Yeah. And that was still early.
That was only maybe 1:30 in the afternoon.
Which is surprising because we hadn't seen a great deal the day before at that sort of time. But we weren't that deep. Like, we were deep sort of back in.
Yeah, they were in. They were deep in those gullies.
Yeah.
But there was so many of them.
Oh, there was, wasn't there? I come back and I go, how's it going? I'm happy to have a bit of a rest. And you were just like, there's deer everywhere. Look.
Yeah, I thought there was one, then I seen two, and then it just kept multiplying to the point I think there was maybe 10 or 15 of them just moving through. And yeah, just unbelievable. Like, you've got goats, you're chasing goats on one face, and I'm glassing deer literally on the opposite face. With they had no idea that we were there. It was bloody impressive.
Then we finally got back down and got your food. That was a long walk back to the buggy. I didn't realise how far we had travelled and how high we had got up. That was ridiculously high.
I think it was easily by the end, probably 2K hike.
Yeah, but
vertical.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was
Yeah.
good. Loved it. Like that to me is just, yeah, that's cool hunting. Like getting to see them the whole time, have a plan, sneak in on them. I don't feel, I've got to go to some different state forests because there are ones that are a bit more open, but it's just like a property like that where you can see them from a kilometre away, get closer, and then just keep closing the distance till you're on them. I just don't think you've got too many state forests where that can occur.
Not that I know of.
No. And it's just a different style, isn't it? Like you sort of watch TV and you watch Meat Eater and things like that where they're glassing something and, on the CB radio or the little handheld radio, directing them in, and you're sort of like, if you've only ever hunted state forests, you're like, what the hell is this? But it really does give you that sense of like, wow, this is fun. It's different and it's super fun.
Yeah, I was using 10 by 42 binos, and could comfortably see to the following face, but yours were a fair bit stronger, and you were seeing multiple faces across, and it's just there's deer and goats everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
The footage is unreal. So I bought a new camera, and if you're looking for a camera, I've got to tell you now, the Lumix bridge camera has a 60 times zoom. Holy crap, it's sensational. And
even if you're in the market for a new set of binos, don't buy the binos, buy the camera. Buy the camera.
I'll tell you what, it's almost to that point, isn't it? I was sitting there going, this is just unreal about how far you can see and like how clear you'll see the vision if you jump on YouTube. It's unreal. I'm so impressed. Like I was picking up things probably 2Ks away comfortably.
Easily.
And you can see them clearly. It's so good. And I think we did that the last morning. But before we get to that, let's go back to the Arvo hunt, because then we decided let's go up and hunt pigs.
We were trying to go for a trifecta style day, which we had.
Yeah, goats, pig, and a deer. Like, well, we already got the trifecta and deer.
Yeah, we'd done the deer in the morning. We tried for the goat, and I don't think we wanted to climb up any more mountains, so we thought, let's go and try and hunt some
that's right, we went for the drive. No, remember the drive? Was that day or the third day?
Nah, that was the third day.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I think we'd done enough climbing, so we were like, let's just leave the ghosts and let's go and try and see if we can get a pig.
Yeah, and you were dying for pigs, because pig is your bit. You just...
And we wanted to try and chase the third species of the day, which we had a fair idea where we were going to go, and we headed back towards that dam that we had set off.
Yep.
And, well, I'll let you tell the story of what happened on the way to that dam.
Well, we were driving to the dam, and you yelled out deer. We pulled up. I think I got the binos out and said, "No, there's a good mob of 5 fallow. You haven't got one yet."
And they were nice.
And it was relatively early. I said, we got a lot of daylight here. Like, you can probably chase this, and we can still get to the pig spot. Do you want to have a crack? And
I think I had one look and thought, I could probably get the buggy in there, was my thought. I was like, if I knock one of those over, I'll probably be able to get the buggy
make life easier.
Yeah, make life pretty easy for us. And then we'll get to go and chase some pigs after. That was my thought.
Yeah.
Turns out they were a little bit further, to be fair, than...
Well, I ranged them before you took off, and I didn't want to tell you because I wanted you to go. So I'd ranged them at 480 to 500.
You stitched me up.
I felt a bit guilty because I was like, geez, I've shot 3 deer straight up. It's your turn. We need to get you one, and we're definitely getting you one before we go home. So it was about 480, 500. It was some really good terrain. I sort of said to you, I think crawl up here. They will not be able to see you over the mound where you are. You'll literally be able to get in within 100, pop out, and you'll be good. And at that stage, I said, I'm going to stay here at the buggy and I'm going to film you with the camera. And I think you'll have a better chance, less noise with one person than 2. And I think it'll be some really good footage here.
Well, my thoughts were that I was just going to come up over that ridge. They were sitting below. They appeared that they were below me. But by the time I got there, and I think there was some trusty little birds up in a rather large tree to my right that may have let them know that there was something coming. You'll see me in the footage. I had a bright orange hat on. So that got ditched. And then the birds kind of went relatively quiet. They weren't as alarmed as what was that thing creeping through the grass. The grass looked like it was quite low, but once you started getting in there, there was a fair bit of cover, and it was relatively crunchy underfoot. To be fair, around that kind of face, but yeah, they had moved in a little bit tighter into cover. I think maybe the birds kind of told them something's lingering around, and but I still managed to get around, got set the bipod up, which was fantastic. It was.
So what do you shoot off? Because I used it a bit later, just so listeners know, because it's a great setup.
So I shoot off a bog pod. Purely, I'm a lefty. I'm probably not as good a shot as I'd like to be, so I like it to be relatively stable. And that you can't get any more stable than one of those. It's a little bit cumbersome, carrying it, but for that kind of stock that I done, it was just perfect,
And you don't run a yoke, you run the clamp. So you can clamp your rifle on and leave it there, essentially.
Yeah, super, super fast.
It is, yeah.
Again, I use it a lot for pig hunting, so that you're clamping a rifle to it, and it's it keeps everything super stable, so that you can get those running shots, that kind of stuff. But in this aspect, it was fantastic. I was right on that it was uneven. The adjustable legs on it were just perfect, and I was able to line up and took the shot with the 243. The initial shot, actually, I wasn't sure if I'd got it, so I let off another shot, but by that stage it had kicked and rolled in front of me, and that was it. It was down.
Done and dusted.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful, beautiful deer. Again, that the property just delivers. Again, another beautiful deer in amazing condition.
Yeah, no, she was.
And there was 3 more that
took off into
the sunset. Yeah. So yeah, for every one that we got, there was plenty more that.
What, 100? Yeah, there's plenty there.
But then we
we had to drag it back.
Yeah, we unfortunately Matty's driving skills with the buggy couldn't get it any closer. I think you could have just ploughed through and got that buggy right in there, but you brought your little pulling strap.
Yeah, I got a little, I don't even know what it's called, but just a strap with a handle that you wrap it around its neck and drag it, and we did that.
Oh, we used the bog pole and we put it through, and we kind of turned it into a
sort of like a log
human sleigh.
It was almost like the ancient Egyptians, trying to move those big stone things. Like we literally had it horizontal, and basically in our arms, sort of like we're just using our sort of chests and
we were like 2 huskies pulling a sleigh, is what we were.
100%. Yeah, no,
but it worked.
It worked because it was hilly as hell.
It was.
Yeah.
It
so
was.
that did get it. Did help us get it back to the buggy.
We got it back to the buggy, and we debated what to do. And daylight was starting to slip, so we decided to get it on the back of the buggy.
Yep.
And then we went up to our little vantage point where we'd seen those pigs come down the night before.
Yep.
And we got you set up.
And you started cutting
and
up.
I started cutting up.
Yep. Yeah.
The best of both worlds. We got to chase pigs and cut up deer at the same time.
And then it was getting dark. How good is my scope?
It's impressive. It is impressive.
Because you shoot a Swaro?
Swaro. And I was impressed that Zerotech that you're running is
good, isn't it?
Unreal. It was... The light was fading fast.
Oh, God, yeah.
And that illuminated rectangle that it's got is just impressive. The clearance on that glass was just incredible. You look through it, and I swear it was probably 5 times lighter looking through the scope than what it was
Oh,
with
100%.
your own eyes, easily.
Yeah, no,
Easily. It was impressive.
Yeah. I cannot fault Zerotech, and a shout out to them because I think the last time we hunted, I broke the dial. Basically the casing or the housing on where the illuminator is, it just sort of popped off, and they just no issues. Went to a Bella's gun shop. They just did an instant swap over. Happy days. For a lifetime warranty, $750, I think, off the top of my head. A Thrive HD, 2.5 by 15. Man, overnight, that last light.
Absolutely.
The illuminated reticle, I literally had it on the lowest light power because it could see so clearly. I didn't need anything else. If anything, it was too bright on the other settings. True. And yeah, had that set up. Little piggy came past. I was wanting you to get a pig because you were sitting there like, I know how much you wanted the pigs.
But I was happy to...
You're happy to watch and see if I could take one.
I was midway cutting up a deer. And
yeah, that's true. And
sure enough, I think I made a comment of, I don't think the pigs are coming tonight, or they'll come later on when it's completely dark. And I think I may have had to eat my words because...
Just popped out.
No more than probably 30 seconds after I said that, there was a pig in front of us.
She, I'm not sure, because it was just popped out, started grazing. Not really moving. I thought it wasn't like the pigs the night before, because it was the exact same place. I thought they'd just be heading down towards the crops, but they weren't. It just literally was...
He had his nose down.
I don't know what he just pottering along. I sort of set up.
Yeah.
Felt relatively good. Pulled the trigger. Don't know what happened, I'll be honest. I don't know. It
looked like it was a hit, but it was quite dark, and he took off.
He took off at 100 miles an hour.
And you couldn't believe just how fast he took off. You'd never seen a pig run quite as fast.
I was quite shocked. Honestly, I don't know what happened. I will say two things. I was shooting a different bullet than the bullets I took the deer out with. I was shooting a Winchester XP 180 grain, I think, whereas my other ones were Hornady Precision 155, maybe. Precision Hunter, I should say, because they were put in there for pigs, just to slam them. I felt good. The bog pod, the grip was super stable. Took my time. I felt it was a good, like, you know when you have a bad shot or you jerk it and you go, I think I stuffed that. I did not feel that at all. I was confident in the shot.
And it wasn't a rush shot
It wasn't a rush shot. It was not even 100 meters. I'd say probably 70.
I think maybe the hunting gods had just said, you've had enough fun
today, mate.
You've had enough fun for today. So you're not getting a trifecta today.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I was shocked. I was super shocked. I thought that I'd hit, but you made some good points. You didn't hear a thud, and you didn't hear, and he didn't squeal. Whatever.
There's two things you always hear when you're shooting pigs. You hear that thud that any pig hunter would know. You hear the thud, and then you hear the squeal. We didn't hear any of that.
Nah.
But he ran.
Yeah. And by that side, we didn't really go check for blood. We tried to see where he went because he went downhill, but there was nothing. So we were just like, we're not going to find him in the thick stuff there.
Nah.
Probably miss. And then we finished cutting the deer up.
Yeah, we finished cutting the deer up and
said, let's go back before it gets too cold. By this stage, I couldn't recognise her. You'd covered up like you were going to rob a bank or something like that.
I look like Kenny from South Park, I think, at that stage, to be fair. It had got pretty cold, and up on that hill, geez, that wind started to come through, and yeah, I really did. I felt like I was, creating an episode of South Park at that stage. I was tucked up into my 100 element, just windproof jacket, just loving life on the inside. I was getting toasty warm again, because Yeah, it was definitely dropping in temperature as soon as that sun disappeared.
Yeah, and the wind was
Fast.
quite chilly.
Yeah, for sure. But it made it all the better that we jumped in the buggy and we didn't have to walk back. We went down those gnarly hills, and for people that haven't been there before, you have to put the buggy in the lowest gear possible to get down the hills in this place. It is steep. Incredibly steep.
That takes me back because there's a top section, and before we got there, I was saying to you on the way, I was like, I really, that top section, I love it. I really like it. Seen some good animals up there. There is absolutely no way I want to go down that anywhere close to dark. And you were like, don't be soft, blah, blah, blah. I think you gave me a bit of stick on the way up, and I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'll take you there, and then you can tell me afterwards. And I think after our first trip down it,
I've driven my fair share of Polaris buggies in sketchy spots, but that is a goat track. Unbelievable goat track, to the point where quite a few times I thought I was going to fall out the door, and I was going, move it over to the face a little bit more, because it was probably 40 centimeters wider than the buggy in sections.
It's tight.
It's super tight.
And steep.
Very steep.
I'm happy doing it in the day. Overnight, no way. I wouldn't do it under light, personally. That's just, I've got kids to come home to.
Haven't gone up there. You didn't when you said, we'll do it in the daytime, we'll not do it in the nighttime, and after being there, I was like, wow, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, that's what I said to you before we went up. I said, I'd love to actually take a little hiking tent or little one-manner, take it in the buggy, go up there, camp up there, and do a morning up there. Because I've never been up there super early, because I'm not driving up that or down that in the dark. It's pretty sketch, as far as I'm concerned.
It'd be crazy to see the critters that would be walking around up there at night time.
Yeah.
Those sections of that mountain where you wouldn't go at night. It just wouldn't be safe.
No,
but,
not at all.
surely those...
there'd be
there would have been thousands of critters up there. 100%. No doubt about it. And we only seen, probably 1/10 of the whole property as well. What about all those other faces and gullies and sections that we just didn't even get to?
Yeah.
Didn't need to go to, I guess.
No. Well, we had 4 deer on the deck, and then that was our last night. Nice campfire. Back into the diesel heater.
Yeah. Well, another little campfire. I think
It was good. Nice chill around again, and went. The next morning, you wanted to go for pigs.
Yep.
Coming off the crops.
Yep.
Because we'd seen the pigs on the crops, but they were so far away by that stage.
Yes.
In the arvos, we were sitting there going, "There's mobs there, exactly where the farmer had told us they were."
They were just too far.
But they were just too far, and then we sort of worked out and said, "This is where we're going to go the next morning." Endeavoured to get down there to try and catch them. I think we were a little late, in the wrong spot, too low. I didn't get the feedback from the farmer till a bit later to be a bit higher. There was a couple of little misfires, I'd say. Not the end of the world, because I had also talked up another section, which is actually one of my favourite sections, just to sit and glass and get up high and just glass. And you've got like 360 views almost. You can see kilometres. And I remember we were there later, but we're driving up, and to the right of us, there were just mobs of deer sprinting for their life to try and get away from the buggy.
That would have been easily. Yeah, that first mob that came up, there would have been probably 40 deer. And then straight behind it, another 20, 30.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We even seen 3 pigs amongst the deer.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I said that last time. Last time, if anyone listened to the episode I did with Felix, is that there was a deer and a pig within 2 meters of each other, both grazing, and we were like, "What the hell is going on here?" But I just think the feed's that good and the property's that good that they don't seem to super worry about each other, unless it's like pigzilla that's, could eat the fallon. The rest of it pretty sort of just chilled.
Yeah,
But-
that was a cracking spot though, to be fair. And you sat there for what? Half hour?
Just looking.
I went for a little
watching.
walk. I can't really sit still for too long. So I took off back up the top of the hill just to have look a little bit higher and try and look at a different face or just have a little general juke around. And I walked back up towards the buggy was and headed up along a ridge line, only to basically come face to face with a doe who was looking down the hill directly at you. He was sitting on the face directly below it, and it was looking down at you, wondering what that was.
It's moving around.
What is that thing down there with the
Glassing.
camera in its hand?
Yeah.
And it was directly above you. And yeah, we ended up kind of walking back up there, and
Yeah, she was still there.
she's still there, just
Grazing along.
grazing,
fence line.
chilling, relaxing. And
Spotted a few. Oh, when I say a few, spotted a lot.
yeah, a bit lower in that valley.
Yeah.
And
Then across on the other faces.
yeah,
That was unreal. The camera footage of that, like, it was just, they get lit up in the sun, just watching how many mobs were on the different faces, just eating in that sun because it was a cold night. That was cool.
it would be, yeah, safe to say, like, if you went to that property during the rut, I would hate to think how many bucks would be there. There is just endless spots where you just go, that is amazing to look at. There's bound to be deer there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like when you look at stuff in State Forest and you go, that'll be a great place for deer, and they're never there. You look at this property and you go, oh, hey, look at that little clearing. That'll be an amazing place for deer. And you look in there and you're like, wow,
There's 20.
there's 20 deer there.
We went for a bit of a walk, kept glassing, dropped back down because we saw a couple more, and we just went down to say, hey, we basically both said, listen, we've got 4 deer. Do we want to shoot another one? I said, look, I wouldn't mind a buck if we come across a nice one, but let's just, it's the morning of, we're going to be leaving shortly. I'm happy just to get some, good footage and just glass, essentially. We dropped down, saw another heap of deer. Just
10
saw
meters in
other
front of us.
heaps of deer.
Yeah.
Came back, stuffed around a little bit there. Came back up, saw more deer on the way down the hill. We're just stopping along the way, just seeing mobs of 30, 40, 2 different mobs of 40, essentially, and just went, it's unreal. Like, it's hard to explain. It's worth the money. Like, it's dead set just to learn about deer, to watch them, to enjoy yourself.
The hills really do have eyes
Oh, it's so
in
cool.
that part of the country.
It is
It's-
so cool.
Right, we had probably, on that way back down that face, I was like, oh, there's some more deer over there. And we pulled over and you got the camera out and you're looking up on the face and you're like, oh, there's 5 there. And then look to the side.
It's 10,
There
15.
there was easily probably 50, 60 deer looking at us.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, and
They just blend, but even just seeing how they blend in.
yeah, you're definitely thankful when you get a rather light colored one that pops out and you
Yeah.
can see it rather easily. Because the camouflage on those deer, they do blend in.
Yep.
But to be fair, when there's a massive mob of 60 of them, they start to stick out pretty easily as
Yeah.
well. Once your eyes
Once you
tuned in.
spot the first, you just sit there and go, oh, there's one. And then you go, oh, crap, there's like 30. I didn't see the 30 of them. I saw the one, but you just pick them up. So,
Yeah, there's no doubt that those guys have got an amazing property. It's blown my head completely, and a week out, and I'm still trying to digest. We've probably seen more deer in 3 days than we'll see for the next 10 years in a state forest.
I reckon lifetime.
Easily.
And that's probably starting at hunting at 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unreal. Yeah.
And they not only do, you've got fallow deer, you can go and hunt the rat there, you get a buck of a lifetime. That's the kind of place where I would take, I'd want to take like my kid when she's old enough to take that. If you're looking for a buck of your life, that place has got it. Hands down, that place will have it during the rut. There is so many does around that place would just be humming with them for sure. I think I'll definitely be going back for they do also do helicopter shoots for pigs, which that
excites you.
That will definitely be on the list of to-dos for sure. Those fields of canola that you can see over in the distance when you're glass and you're just like, wow, just think how many could be in there.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this episode up and we'll get into the next one because I want to talk about pig hunting because that's I think that's a good little segue there. You getting excited about a pig helicopter hunt. And we'll get onto a topic that you are extremely passionate about and I know very little, and we've got a lot of listeners that are super keen. I keep getting hit up saying, hey, get some more people on that are pig hunters that chase pigs. I want to hear about it. So we'll catch you next week. Then it is going to be on pig hunting.
You've been listening to the Australian Hunting and Beyond podcast with Matt. Thanks for tuning in and can't wait to catch you next time. But in the meantime, if you want more, you can find it at linktr.ee/Australian Hunting and Beyond. That will give you our YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, you name it. We'll catch you next time.